You know, they put your name, Mr. A, Mr. B, tick who you want. You know, then everybody cuts out that section, they give it to the electoral officers. Then they now start sorting, which may be fine, but the problem is that, you know how it is now, you're a human being, so you're looking, I'm going to put A here, I'm going to put B here, A, B, B, where is A, B, you know, then it goes in here. I mean, like, because you're looking at the names and seeing who did he tick and select. So I said, okay, fine. The good thing in that process is that everybody feels at once, ticks at once, so that doesn't take time. The time is also in what? In the sorting. Now, it's not just the time, it's the what accuracy too, because you're having human beings do it. So I said, okay, fine. Maybe we can easily just what? Automate this and just do a simple form on Excel, you know. And what we just tried to do for this was, okay, just make it a touch screen. Reason because we had some elderly people who probably are not, you know, used to using a mouse. So we said, okay, put a screen up. We'll put the faces of, you know, the contestants. Just come there, touch, touch, touch. Once you do those touches, there's a database, Excel sheet, where it goes and, you know, it kind of does that. So sometimes, knowing Excel is really good, right? You know, I don't want to tell you the other story that, you know, we needed to use two systems just to reduce the number of people on using one. So people were coming out this way, people were coming out this way. So I already had a shared folder, the two files were there, then I had a consolidated, you know, file that was just going to merge the results of the two. Second system, Excel crashed. Okay, so that's the story for another day. So, but the point is, this is what it looks like. Okay, so now, so this was what everybody would see. This is just keeping track of the number of people that have voted. So if this were a touch screen like this, right, what they were just expected to do was just to do this. And the clicking of this picture brings up the next group. So once I click this now, for example, this is the next group. Now, what we just put here is a recall button. Somebody may have made a mistake and said, oh, I didn't want to vote for the first person, I actually wanted to vote for the second. So this button is just to help you, you know, go back. Now, when you do this, you have to be careful, you know, and that's the thing about programming and writing, because you have to think, because when you click the first guy, that result is actually added to the database. The moment he clicks recall, it needs to go there and delete it, else you would have, you know, multiple. So, but sometimes it's very easy to just write and put some fanciful things and, you know, so which is what I always say, that before I design some of these things, this is where I think it needs to happen. Happens here first. Once it happens here, this is not difficult again, because this is just, you know, putting everything here. But if it doesn't happen here, then you have a problem here. So you recall, it brings you back, and then you can vote. Well, there are only two people. If you now, so once you do this, the recall is greater, because I'm like, if there are two people, you made a mistake, you recalled, and you still made a mistake, then you shouldn't be here. So, I mean, they are just two people. Yeah? Is it more difficult than that? So you made a mistake, no, then get out. So then you vote for the second person. You shouldn't have any difficulty choosing someone here. But I actually do. Okay, so once we see thank you for voting, then the next person comes in, you know, and you do all of that. And you know, so and what I just tried to do was, you know, to also keep track of the time each person spent. So the moment you click the first person, you know, it notes the time. Once you are done, it notes the time. Just to give us an idea, okay, fine, if next year we are having 400 or 500 people, I can say on the average, you know, people use 10 seconds. So I know it's going to take about, you know, maybe 5,000 seconds to get it done.
And millions of people stay longer time.
Yeah, that would be nice to, you know, if I could do that. But that would take some time, because it means that everybody that comes, you need to have to put in your details and your gender, right? Because someone also voted and they were like, that guy is not a member. And someone was like, then the pastor stood up and said, we'll delete his data. And someone was like, how do you know? So I was like, easy to know if you were paying attention, right? And you were looking here. All I need to know is that, okay, it was number 3, right? That's the best I can do under this circumstance. Because it's not like you're tying, you know, nobody's logging in and all that. But it's just a simple, you know, and it doesn't look like Excel right now. So what I did was I set it to fill 90% of the screen. So whatever screen I open it on, because this is one problem I have with user forms. Whenever you build them, the way it comes up is the way it was built. So if you now go to a bigger screen with a different resolution, everything gets messed up. So I was like, okay, well, good enough, I know little maths. So I just like, okay, what's this one? This is 50. And maybe this screen is 100. So it means this is always 50% of this. So I put a 0.5 somewhere. So when you open on any screen, just do 0.5 of what? The height of that screen. So that way, it doesn't really matter where I open it up. Everything is always in its proper place. You know, so, and yes, it's Excel, in case you're not, in case you're wondering, right? And so I have a very crude database here, you know, which kind of just stores what I just did, you know, someone voted for. At the end of the day, it's a very simple thing, just summing up, right? You know, and these are the times. Oh, this one I did. So in case you have, it looks correct, right? Okay, 110 seconds, I must have been very slow. What was I doing? I was talking, you know, so, and I don't even have that in my chat because I'm like, any right-thinking person should be able to vote in 10 seconds. So if you are more than 60 seconds, you shouldn't be here. Because the idea is you should know who you are voting for before you come up, you know, and then you have, sorry, maybe results. Yeah, so this kind of just, you know, helps to just show, you know, how long each person spent in voting and all that. So what this is really, and I think what the idea behind the presentation is just trying to tell you that a lot of times you can use Excel for, you know, some very simple things. Somebody else will say, I remember we needed to do something once, and someone was like, we need to get one Oracle database, it's going to cost 300,000. I'm like, give me half. No, if I give me a quarter. I see, he was talking some very funky things. I think it's always about tailoring, you know, the solution to meet the problem. Of course, also understanding to some constraints, right? If you're in some very big organization where you guys, not everybody needs an ERP. I don't think so. Someone was talking the other day, he was like, how do you guys store your data? Because the guy works as an IT, is a sales manager for one of the very big companies. So he was like, how do you guys store your, how do you back up your data? And then my brother was like, we sent it by email. And I saw his reaction like, then someone else said somewhere like, hey, we can store it on the cloud. Then the guy was like, then my brother is like, the file is 20 kilobytes. I mean like, no, the point is he was thinking, you know, but I'm like, 20 kilobytes, I need to get, okay, yes, I'm not saying I'm not against the cloud, but the point is sometimes, you know, things just have to be tailored, you know, to be. So it's not like, oh, we needed to have this and I'll say, oh, I need to go and build an application in Python, and at the end of the day, when I finish in Python, I will need to have something like maybe export to Excel, right? So why go to Python when I can sit here, you know, and do that? So that's really just the idea, you know, behind some of these things. To tell you that, you see, Excel can do a lot. If I had a YouTube channel, even though that someone has taken off the channel, Excel is fun. That's what I would like to name my channel. Because for me, it's all about, you know, having fun, you know, doing some of the things you do. We've had a very, very serious presentation on machine learning. Okay. Me, I don't know how to learn with machines, so this is what I know how to do. So the point really is, there are a lot of things you can do, you know, with Excel. You don't necessarily, I mean, every example I've shown here has to do with codes, right? But not everything has to do with that. There's sometimes, and I always tell people, when you want to learn VBA, at least make sure, like, if you watch if you listen to Mr. David and looked at the progression, you will see that you had VLOOKUP somewhere way before you had VBA, right? I mean, somewhere way before. Yeah. Sure. So the idea is, you don't just wake up and, I don't know, that's not how I tell people to approach it, I just jump into coding. Because in Excel, for example, I tell people that, see, for those who want to be the best programmers in Excel, you could be a very good C# programmer, you come to Excel and you mess yourself up. Because it's not really about programming, it's understanding Excel and Excel's object model, right? So if you don't understand the front end, you would just be messing yourself up at the back. Because a C guy doesn't know that there's something like, oh, cell, there's something like range, because those things don't exist in his world. So you need to understand the front end first. So as much as I'm showing these examples, but if I were to give you an idea of how you should progress, say, make sure your formulas and your front. When I mean front end, I say front end like everything here. If you've taken the Microsoft certification, Excel expert, they will ask you to do some simple things. Then they will take you into the back. And when I say the back, they start asking you things like, okay, can you mark this document as final? Everybody's looking at me. Yeah, I expected like that. What does that mean? Where do I find that? Can you change the author of this document? And when they say change the author of this document, they are not saying go to Windows Explorer, right click and properties and check. No. within Excel itself. So there's still a lot that happens here that has nothing to do with what? With codes. Data tab, excellent. Oh, what do you know how to do there? Someone says I can filter. What about advanced filter? What about remove duplicates? You know, can you do all that? The what if analysis, scenario manager, goal seek. So there are so many things you can do here. So before you go into VBA, you know, there's a lot of work that you can do here. But master this, then gradually transition. Then when you're done with VBA, then put a call through to Mr. David Brown, then he'll give you all the power and you'll be fine. So thank you very much. Whether related or unrelated, I'm free to take them. And the ones I can't answer, trust me, you can see my bodyguards, they're just deflect.
No, don't worry, just ask questions.
I just can't overrule you, sir.
So the question is, I find it very, in my career learning Excel, there's a very big disadvantage for IT guys that just go straight into VBA and start using Excel from VBA. They completely create some really ridiculous things on VBA that they could have done with the Excel interface.
Yes.
And they don't understand that, look, this thing has to go to VBA first, then come back to Excel. So it's faster in Excel directly.
Yes.
And so that's, you find that as a massive disadvantage for people just learning that. And how can they reverse it? For someone that has that ailment of being a 100% VBA guy and the Excel bit is really suffering, how do you kind of convince them to relearn? You know, they're already here.
Yes, yes, true.
How do you have that scenario? How do you help?
It would have been better if the person never went that way, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, but yeah, echoing of course what I said, but now I'm trying to think, you know, off the top of my head, like because the problem is, like you said, it's not about, they have to unlearn, maybe, and then relearn. But I think the challenge, like you said, is maybe convincing them that they actually need to, because anybody who can do VBA feels, you can't tell me I don't know Excel. I mean, I'm even doing what mere mortals can't do. So, you know, they are telling me I really don't know Excel. You know, so, but I think what I do sometimes, I don't know if that always works, is when people do some very complex things, then I do the simple version and send to them and say, well, I was just trying it out, you know, trying to be humble. You know, maybe the person could then say, oh, okay, Victor, yeah, how did you do this? Yeah, because I think it's just something you have to manage. Yeah, because the IT guys are not really interested in, they think everything is about coding. But like you said, they also make some solutions that are so funky that Excel, basic Excel features, and which is what I said too, that I don't jump into VBA, you know, just because I want to. I try to look at the whole of Excel and like, can this be done? If I need Excel to close a workbook at a certain time, for example, there's no option I have aside VBA. In that case, I go to VBA. But if it's just to say, oh, I need to put something in a certain cell, you know, then I stick with that. So it's neither here nor there. I think it's just maybe showing them, you know, if you can replicate what they've done with VBA in Excel, maybe that could help them understand that, okay, you know, you didn't need to have, you didn't need to have gone, you know, maybe this route. Yeah, but it's difficult. I know. I mean, I'm just trying to bundle things together. Like, what's the answer? Just tell the person. Just roll back the hands of time, I think, and let him start. And I think maybe just to emphasize that, I think it's really advantageous for those maybe who haven't gotten that far, you know, because it's more difficult to unlearn. It's just too difficult. Once you start doing things in a certain way, the wrong way, it's difficult. It's easier to tell somebody now who doesn't even know how to use Excel that, see, whenever you come, always arrange your data in this way. For some reason, whenever I want to do anything on an Excel cell, I never start from A1. I always start from B2. I just always like that one column, one row. Now you tell me whether that's good or bad. I don't know, but that's how I do it. But somebody else will tell you, okay, like in one of Michael's videos, they always start as close to A1. I said, well, B2 is close to A1. You know, so I think I'm still alive with him. I remember that. Let's start as close to A1 as possible. Okay, B2. You know, but maybe the right thing is to start from A1. It's difficult for someone like me. Once I want to do anything, even if I'm just testing a solution in Excel, once I pull Excel up, I go to B2. Because I just feel that, okay, maybe I would need, you know, just something that looks like a border, artificial, you know, in my own mind. That's excellent. So, but for you who hasn't started doing B2 and we tell you it is A1, it's easier for you to just keep doing A1. But for me to come from B2 to A1, that's difficult.
So even when we had the insert on Excel,
She said,
Oh, we had it.
yeah, I come to
Okay.
It's just what
we'll make sure we bring you to our side.
So, any other questions? Yes, sir.
When are we getting a book from you, sir?
When are you getting
A book from you.
a book?
Yes, from BBA. I've heard that you won.
Oh, okay, a book on VBA.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's very easy. I can send you one after this lesson.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I understand your question, but I'm not answering your question. The question is a book from me, right? It's going to come from me. But I'm not going to be the author of the profession. So I get your points here. Well, Michael has a book, but not on VBA though. And Michael has a book on BI. Then he has a book for the very busy, what's that title again? For the busy professional, yeah. So if you are too busy and you don't have the just default. So maybe I can think about it, but the truth is that there are excellent, resources out there. We're talking, myself and Kunle at the back. And when it comes to VBA, we're talking about John Wackenbach.
Yeah.
The guy is kind of like, the beginning and end of Excel. He has over 50 books. It's amazing. Most of the things I know, I learned from him, honestly. And a lot of things I know, and so maybe just to say this, a lot of things maybe I know, which is still very little. I learned on forums, YouTube, and books. The good thing about books is that books put a structure to it. So you are not learning, index before you even learn how to do equals to A1 plus A2.
Well, I agree with him. You need to do, because your style is different from most people. Your style is very infectious and stuff. So not only a book, you should do a course. You should really do a course.
Okay,
I'm seriously, if you're interested, we can talk, and we have a studio and stuff. We can create a course because people will love to learn from you. Yes. Many people are good, but they are like bricks. You can't learn from a brick.
Yeah. That's
so yeah, it looks like some business opportunity. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
I want to say thank you to everybody who has attended.